Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Saturday's live streams. May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. So we're having, there's a sale at the site. If you don't belong to the newsletter. Oh, and there's, hold on a second. Everything is echoing and repeating and all that good stuff. Oh, I need to update the text here. Fun times on Cinco de Mayo. So welcome. My name is John Skippy Limcool. This is a live stream I host every Saturday. It is sponsored by my website. I'm going to show you that website here right in a second. Let's do that. Make this smaller. So this is the website that you can come to, pluginguru.com. Mega Magic Viola is out. It's doing well. The reviews are awesome. People are very, very happy with the library and these sounds. There's more information on the page if you haven't been here lately. Lots of great reviews. You guys, thank you for taking the time to write a review. If you own the library, reviews now work. They didn't work for over a year. They work. So any of the libraries that you own, you have to own the library first, but then you can write a review. And these help so much with giving customers confidence. So any library that you have of mine that you enjoy and you want to share the word, that's one way to do it, is to write a review. And I humbly thank you in advance for doing so. Greetings from Atlanta. Everybody's here. Have you tried the new version of Omnisphere? I have not. I am not a beta tester. I am no longer affiliated in any way with Spectrasonics other than a happy person that makes libraries that supports their products. So I have applied on their website just like all of you have hopefully applied. If you haven't, if you go to spectrasonics.net, let me show you where. It's a little interesting. Spectrasonics.net. And you go under support and you hit updates. And this will get you to a tab that will give you your serial numbers and the products you own. And if you own Omnisphere 2, there will be a button you can click that says join the beta. And what everybody's talking about, Super Booth happened in Berlin this last week. It just wrapped up, I think, yesterday. And one of the big stories, there were some really nice big stories. One of the big stories was Spectrasonics has introduced Omnisphere version 2.5. And the thing that's got a lot of people buzzing and a lot of people kind of confused by the people I've talked to is the hardware synth integration. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Let's see what. So basically, here's what's going on. This does not make Omnisphere all of a sudden sound like all of your hardware synthesizers. It's not like that. The idea is basically this. Omnisphere, if we, let's go to a channel that doesn't have anything going on and load up Omnisphere. Omnisphere has learn capabilities for every parameter so that when you're working with it, and if you're sitting at a hardware synthesizer that has a filter knob, and this hardware synthesizer works via MIDI and you have it connected to the system, that knob sends out a controller number. And it could be that in the past, you could go MIDI learn, CC learn, right? Like this, MIDI CC learn, move something, and now it's connected to that hardware, right? And you could take all the time to set up everything on your synthesizer. There were some things you couldn't do, like this changing the wave shape. That wasn't accurate to what it would be like if you're sitting at a Moog. And so Spectrasonics is doing something really interesting where they're going to make a list that you pull down and you say what hardware you have, and it automatically assigns all of these knobs for you to the hardware knobs of the same names. And if there's an overdrive, if you watch the videos on YouTube, it pops up an overdrive effect just by turning the overdrive on. The overdrive. So it's trying to mimic the hardware as best as it can, but it is not that hardware. It doesn't suck in the life of your OBX or my Moog Voyager. It can't do that. They've added some new filters to try to be more accurate to the response of a filter from the OBX. I don't know what else is there. But it's basically hardware integration so that when you're working with hardware and you spin the filter knob, it's already set up for you. That's basically a really nice convenient factor, especially if you're playing live. But it's not one of these things where you don't have to have hardware ever again, and this is going to make hardware obsolete. It's just trying to integrate more than anybody has done before the interactions of software and hardware automatically for you, so that your hardware now can be used in some cool ways. They've also doubled it in size for being 4 layers now instead of 2 layers. I believe, what was it? Let me get my numbers straight. It has now 8 LFOs instead of 6 LFOs. Envelopes takes a massive jump from 4 to 12. So that means there's going to be rhythmic nirvana stuff going crazy. The assignable matrix modulation right here that has 2 pages will, I guess, be doubled to 4 pages. Again, I don't have this. I will get it as a beta as soon as everybody else does, I hope. It's up to Spectrasonics whether they give it to me or not. And once they do, I'll be happy to share what I know and what I find out from it. But it doesn't really add new sonic creation capabilities, new synthesis modes. It just doubles the size of the capabilities of a patch, which is pretty cool. You can now you'll be able to go through any existing patch and you'll be able to go, let's go to like something from Mega Magic Dreams. And all of a sudden there's the ability to easily add a piano to one of these sounds just because, oh, I got to do this real quick. I got to go down here and I just moved some sample sources around. So it makes that type of stuff really cool. It'd be nice if there's a way to like have it like you could go to patches and when you load a new patch, it would load it automatically to layers 3 and 4 so that you could like load 2 patches easily. So you don't have to like do, it seems to me like right now you have to do like a copy one part and paste the part to get something from a piano program and then put it into, you know what I mean? It's still processing. 4 samples is a sound designer's dream, especially with all the extra modulations. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really missing that much with only 2 layers, to be honest with you, because there's so much synthesis capabilities and you're able to, I mean, it's you know, a 200-foot long car doesn't make it a better car than just a standard car the way it is now. There's other challenges. Now it's twice as big. So it's twice as much CPU power in a patch. Shouldn't be too much of an issue, but be careful with granular stuff like that because the same rules, our computers are the same speed today as they were before this announcement. Yeah, I think if you don't have a new computer, this might be a reason to want to get a new computer because of these new capabilities. But I don't know how they'll implement it. It'd be really cool. Like I said, like if I was to take a sound like, why are you not playing? Oh, I'm on 3, maybe channel 3, channel 2. It'd be really cool if you could say, you go to Keyscape and you want to load this piano up. Right now, what I have to do is I'd have to copy this part. I'd have to go to the piano I want to play. And then I would have to paste this part to this one of these, and this is only 1 layer, so it's easy to do this now. But you'd say paste part, and now you would be able to have it's supposed to, cinematic. Let's go to part 1, close this. Oh, I know what I did. Oh, I didn't want to say paste part, I want to say paste layer. And it's probably gonna be, so here, go copy layer. Copy layer. Now you can go back to Mega Magic Dreams. Say we're on a nice soft piano sound. Go to part B, paste layer. So you can do this now. Let's take this up an octave. You can do that now. Now, I'm thinking more in the terms of if you have an existing patch, which has a lot more going on. The Mega Magic Dreams is all about a single sample, so these are single patches. But if you were in a more complex Omniverse type of a thing, and you're with a synth sound or something like that, or a pad. And I want to add to this. This is 2 layers already. There's now these 2 additional layers sitting there. It'd be nice if there was ways to like load in layers from other patches without having to go through a copy paste routine, but I don't know how it's going to work yet. So the other thing, yeah, that a lot of people are, I mean, I've seen it in a lot of comments, is the arpeggiator. It's really cool. It'd be really cool if each layer had its own arpeggiator, because then we could really start getting into kind of the things you can do with Dune 2, that you can do with Rapid, that you can do with other things that do very, very complex compositional things with a single key per se, or be able to do different timing things happening while different other things are happening. We're not there yet. I was also excited to see the new things that he's getting into hardware with a little modular thing. Behringer, they've got the ARP I saw. They have an 808 coming out, which looks great. Has a couple additional features in it beyond just being an 808 clone. They showed the Pro 2, I believe, was shown as well in a video that I saw. So it's great to see those things. I saw a really funny meme. It's like Behringer's going to make all these analog synths really cheap so that people in companies have to start innovating again. And it's so true because, I mean, come on. Analog waveforms and filters and envelopes and a little bit of synthesis. Let's get beyond that. There's universes of sound to explore that require new forms of synthesis to be developed. And I hope that happens. Yeah, multiple ARPs would be very nice. Is the Spectrasonics announcement affecting your decision on which hardware you were getting? I think it would for somebody that was playing live. If you're playing live, you'll want to look at something that makes sure that you're on this compatibility list. They have a compatibility list. If you see, they've announced in their announcement. Where's the announcement? Let's see. Can I make this bigger? Yeah. So these are the synthesizers, hardware-wise, that will be supported when it comes out. And they have a thing called hardware patches, which I don't know exactly what that means, but I don't know if they're making patches that are like kind of like the personality of these things while they're trying to nail the quality of these different synthesizers. But again, I'll take my Moog filters and call them Moog filters, and there's no Omnisphere equivalent as far as I'm concerned. So it's cool what they're doing, but it's more for the live performance to me more than trying to replace everybody else in the hardware world. It's just making it a better integrated software to hardware transition, I guess is what I'm thinking. But again, we don't know. I don't know. It's just my opinion. I am not beholden to anybody else. Yeah, the Behringer, the DeepMind 6 has great real-time control knobs in front of it to work with. So that would be a really good option to look at. Let's see. Yesterday, I had fun. I went on a hike with my dog to a really cool waterfall. Let me show you that, because life is about more than just sonic mayhem. This is a waterfall in Washington. And here, I'm going to show this one first. Whoa. I don't know if you'll hear it or not, but that's a waterfall, my friends. Isn't that beautiful? And I got there a little late in the day, and it was cloudy in the morning in Portland. I was like, oh, this is a waterfall. It's great when it's cloudy, because if you're a photographer and you're doing waterfalls, you want the clouds, because that way there's not this harsh light turning water bright, bright, bright white. It's like a nice soft box, shining even light on everything. And we didn't get that. This is another, but it's a beautiful place. It's you got to hike some bit. You got to hang onto ropes and go down a canyon side a little bit to get down here. But it's beautiful. Here are my photos that I've created from that outing. This is, I really like the treatment I did on this one. It's got a really cool steel look to it. Came out really cool. And then here's this one, which has a little bit more of a blue to it. This is with my new camera that I'm really enjoying working with, but look at the detail. What's nice with photography is once you take a picture, you can look at these details that you kind of gloss over when you're just looking at it live. You don't see all these intricate things that Mother Nature is orchestrating visually to the water. I had a 30 seconds. I put a 10 stop on the front of the filter, so it's got a really darkness. It's like sunglasses on the front of the lens. So it has to be a really long shutter speed. So you get these really, the water just runs and becomes this milky effect. And that really makes the lines that the water is taking these really cool, unique, pronounced things. So I love photography. Photography, there's filters, there's gradients, there's all sorts of things in the photography world, just there is in the audio synthesizer world. The art of making photos and thinking composition is very similar to music to me. Jazz improvisation, where you're taking a picture and you improvise by going someplace else and recomposing. It's all from the same place in my mind. And so I love photography very much. So that was yesterday. I had to take a break, get out of here a little bit. We've been going really hard lately on all sorts of things. So that was yesterday. What's the new camera? It's right here. It is a Sony A7 Mark III full frame. And I used to be a Canon shooter, and so I have what's called the MC11, this adapter right here. Let's see, make sure this is off. And what's cool is this little adapter allows me to mount my really nice Canon lenses and then plug them into the Sony body, and they work just as if they were Sony lenses. So I don't... If you've looked and shopped around for some of the really nice Sony lenses, they're extremely expensive, like $2,000 a lens. And so this allows me to use my existing lenses. Yeah, the Sony is incredible. The sensor, the sharpness, it's, yeah. I've never been full frame. I started with the 10D many years ago, 25 years ago. I went 10D, 20D, 7D, and then I went to the Canon A6000, which is still an APS-C, so I haven't ever had a full-frame sensor to work with. So I treated myself this year and got the full-frame sensor, and here's a picture of my daughter. Check this out. This is, I mean, just the sharpness and stuff is wonderful. So it's a great camera. I'm really happy with that. It's really cool. So I had a couple crazy ideas for today. I'm not sure where we wanted to go. So I don't really have a big agenda. I'm wrapping up I'm doing some demo things. Yes, the Nikon converter isn't all that great. The Sigma one that for Canon lenses works. The Nikon isn't so good. So here's the thing. I have a demo I've been working on for Mega Magic Viola. And we were either going to play with that or we're going to do a complete left turn, because coming out this month, oh, it's going to open up in the full frame thing in Photoshop. Great. Is this. Boom. Urban. Working on, this isn't the final artwork. It's my rough artwork that I then send to my graphic artist in Poland, and Matt will go crazy and make it look even cooler. But Urban Grooves is coming, and we're doing some really cool things. I'm not going to give away all of the cookies with what it's going to entail, but I have a groove that I've started, and it's right now in sequence format, and I was going to end this live stream. I think I'll do this because it might be more fun. And this is I'll play the demo, what I have so far. It's got a long ways to go. It's just an idea. But we're going to take a groove that's existing inside of Logic. And I'm going to show you the process of spitting out the samples, converting them, getting them into Break Tweaker, and making the same groove in Break Tweaker to kind of give you that kind of what this transition takes to go from a groove that we create based on inspired by a song or a groove that we like. You'll recognize this groove. It's from a popular song. But before we do that, let me play you the viola demo. This is really lovely. It starts slow, and then I'm going to add a part, but this uses, I really wanted to use the solo viola. I think later this week, I'm going to release a little bonus library of treatments to do solo, because I didn't realize this exactly, but it's the patches that are provided, they don't lend themselves for. I was shying away from being solo almost too much. I mean, it's really great. But you can play solo as well. And so I've made a patch. Actually, it's a multi. I'll make a couple more different treatments so that you. So this is an idea I started. The idea was this: at measure 12, we need to go to tempo, open tempo list, and I'm going to add a new tempo here at about 115 beats per minute. And let's go to I just want to make sure that I'm safe to change this without blowing anything up. I'm going to go to the multis. To viola, and I wanted to use one of the so it'd be like a nice transition from this slow dramatic and then I need to build around that idea. Let's see how that sounds. It's kind of loud and quantize. Let me see something real quick, because I keep hearing this note. It's in this patch. So let's look at this patch real quick. You guys are just going to come around and hang with me for a while I mess around. Number 3, I think something. You know what? It might be harmonia. There's just something in that distance. You know, it might be this sample too. So let's see if we're here. It's the harmonics. So there's something funny going on. Ah. That's better. Although now I lost that motion trick, right? So let's find another sample. This is the whisper. Let's go for maybe the Regal Scape. And maybe let's filter it. Oh, why am I opening the part box? So let's turn on the filter. And I'm gonna have it just do a really nice slow growth. Maybe just a little resonance. There. There. So you get the idea, and then I'm gonna keep building and adding on this idea. I'll add something like that to it. Let's see what that sounds like. So I'm experimenting. So let me see. You guys have any thoughts on this? Taking a break from yard work. Where's my Kleenex box? Even more. Yeah, it'd be nice. Okay, so let's add that. And we'll listen to click. Okay, so I like more. I didn't have, the chords are not quite right in this, so I'm kind of ignoring them. I kind of have them more, I have a little bit solider. Yeah, I'll share the chord progression. People are asking for the chord progression, so we'll do that in a minute. So I'm closer. I do this a lot. I have a start of an idea. I further refine it with that. Now I'm going to go back and redo what was the original idea part to get the idea even more ingrained. Oh, wait. Don't do that. So it's D minor. Keep D minor. It's just D, F. I love to build chords with the melody integrated into it a lot. So the down to C, B flat, B flat, B flat inverted with the D in the bass. And then when I come back for the second time around, I go down to G minor, because G minor is a good relative minor to D minor. can do that kind of stuff. So, okay, close. One more time. Okay, so I got the chord progression nailed on the viola part, the bowing part. So now I'm going to play it one more time with the big strings. Oh wait, I don't want to add the F. I want to one more time. Oh wait, I gotta cancel, delete. So then I can build from there and add other things to it. Triangles, who knows what, right? So I like that idea, but see how I added a tempo change, and then I'm using the click to have the tempo change actually happen during the slow part a measure earlier, so that I'm set for tempo because the notes aren't changing at that point. So if you guys had one go-to plugin, would it be Omnisphere? I would say for most people, yes. Of all the I have 30 libraries for Omnisphere, and customers are more likely to buy that than other plugins, because it can do so much and go so many places. I mean, to be able to go, let me save this. To be able to go from this to the libraries that are inside of it, but you could go to the OMG Drums Volume 2 to these types of grooves that are just really fun to just in a whole different. So to some dance stuff. If we go to the techno things, these came out so cool. It's a whole different planet, and to have these types of sounds at your disposal. Oh, that's right, I did. Okay, so let's do this. There. So I'm just playing notes. I mean, the power of Omnisphere is pretty undeniable. To go from that place to this is still one of my favorite libraries. This Piano in the Clouds. I've heard this in a number of films recently. It's just beautiful. You know, to go from that to then to go to percussa, go to these things that are just have that inside of one plugin. It's crazy. If you had one hardware synth, the one I was never able to afford, Prophet 10. You know, hardware synths, it's more about what kind of sounds you want. Myself, I'm partial. I love my Access Virus because it has unlike almost anything else in my room, it can go many different places because of how powerful the synthesis inside of it is. And it's got a lot of hardware knobs. It's not on the list. A number of people asked for Spectrasonics to consider supporting it. One comment, like I have a Korg Kronos 2 over here, which I don't think they would be able to do because it does not have hardware knobs in the same way as the other instruments that they have listed. The Korg, I think Mini Log, I think they'll do the Pro Log since that just came out. But workstations where all the parameters are inside a touchscreen, that doesn't apply to the hardware integration that they are looking at doing, as far as I can tell. Prophet 12, the new Prophet X looks really great with 150 gigabytes of samples inside of it. I'm sure that will get supported again, I don't know for sure, but it's new and it's all hardware and analog and samples integrated and stuff. So anyway, I've saved the Viola thing. We're going to switch gears, okay? So I'm going to close down this Logic song, open up another one, and hopefully nothing crashes, and I'll be right back. So hang on. So quit this. Are you there? Can you hear me? Did we make the transition? Did we make the light speed transition? I think we're live. Just as soon as I hear a yes, I hear you. Okay, good. So this is the groove. It's not, I think we're just about done with it. So here we go. This is, well, let me do this. Let me first show you this. We're almost done. If you make another demo track for a library, are you brave enough to try and mix and maybe master said track in Omnisphere? I would never mix and master a track just in Omnisphere. No. I use UAD effects. I use other effects from FabFilter, from Sound Toys, all sorts of things for a final mix. Omnisphere is not my go-to for that kind of a thing. So this is Urban. Here's the grooves that we have, and we're going to make and add a new one to this list. So Urban is one of these. Big E was with me. So I have loved drums and rhythm and hip hop and dance of all music genres of all types for a long, long time. Back in the day, my first gig when Korg hired me was to do the patches for a drum card for the Korg M1. And so I made the drum kits. We mapped, they sent me the samples. I had to map the drum kits. Since that day in 1989, I have made the drum kits for all of Korg's workstations, all the way up to the Kronos 2. All the hip hop kits, the dance kits, everything. In 2000, I released a library that a lot of people have enjoyed, and I've heard it for all sorts of things, called Skippy's Big Bad Beats. And so there were all these grooves. They're in Stylus RMX. When you buy the Ilio expansion, the expansion libraries, and you have all the small mixes. If you don't have this, I'm actually considering releasing this on my website. I've got the okay to release it again because Stylus hasn't had an update in forever. But there's all these different loops and elements. This one was done like this, where it's like, and then I released 2 or 3 years later a library called Noisebox, and it has all these really cool grooves. And instead of being full mixes and small mixes and breakdowns, it's a breakdown of all the elements. So This res loop right here, that's my Nord lead. Right? So I've been into the groove thing forever, but I haven't released an urban library since I started plugging Guru. And at the NAMM show this year, I was talking to a couple of people, actually at the Spectrasonics booth. Big E was there. And yeah, if you don't use Stylus RMX, you should definitely consider, because you can get RX libraries. There are tons of libraries. Let me show you real quick. I'll tell you the story in a second. But if you go to user libraries, there's all of these libraries, the Mo Mayhem, the Cinematic Impacts, the Mo Mayhem, all of these. There's a ton of different companies that have RX libraries for bass, for guitar, for all sorts of things. So they have really helped actually keep Stylus RMX for a lot of people as a viable thing to use, because there's literally millions of RX loops. You take a wave file and you use recycle from propeller heads to place markers, and it spits them into separate samples across your keyboard and a MIDI file. And then RMX can play it automatically because it's basically playing a MIDI file inside of it for these samples. So, but I was talking to a couple guys that are there that have produced a lot of really big records, won Grammys in the gospel category, and they're like, dude, you need to do urban library. You haven't done one. And so I was talking with them. I was talking with NATO when I got home. The people I actually talked to at the NAMM show were too busy. They've been working on some huge records, and so I didn't ever get a chance to get them involved in this project, but we're in talks about a future project. But NATO Fields, who helped make OMG drums, I got a hold of him and said, we're doing an urban library. You want to be a part of it? And he's like, yeah. So he and I have done together a library of urban. Yeah. See? Can you hear it? Why are we not hearing it? Oh. There we go. So there's all sorts of crazy grooves. So we'll have, I think, over 40 when we're done. And the way Break Tweaker works is just like the OMG libraries, where you've got the full grooves to play on these keys. You have fills. And then above this, when you get to number 7, is a no snare. No kick version next to it. Now, people are asking about swing. Swing, there is no swing parameter in Break Tweaker. If you want swing, you have to actually do it in a really tricky way. And I've done a video showing this. I'll show you real quickly. Say we want a hi-hat. Say we want this shaker. So let's go to an empty track like this one here. There's nothing playing. Say shaker. And let's go like here. And then you divide it into 2 by holding down the shift key or the command key. And then you adjust your tension. To determine what you want the swing value to be. And then 20 seems to be working pretty well. If I say copy, paste, paste, paste. I'm at a fast tempo, so I can slow this down. And the unique thing about this is that every every segment can have its own swing amount, which is cool. A lot of the urban stuff these days is all straight stuff. There's not even swing like the hip hop style. There's not a lot of that. It's mainly the faster 16th, 30th, 64th note hi-hats. Like if we wanted to get rid of these, let's have this be like. So it's easy to mix them up. Oh, shoot. It's my ISP. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry, guys. It seems like right in the middle of a live stream, every week it goes down. Let me see. Turn off this. Okay, sorry about that. It just goes down for no reason. It's very frustrating. So anyway, this is coming later this week. Probably not later this week, later this month. Probably in about 2 or 3 weeks. And a lot of the stuff in this library, if you get to like Man Up is when I did. No sound? Oh, hold on a second here. Preferences, audio. Wait, do you have no sound? No sound? No sound? We need to learn my... Okay, hold on a second. Quit, don't say. All right, do we have audio? Now you're back. Oh. Oh. Uh-huh. So I did a restart anyhow, just to make sure and to be safe. So we've been working on this for a while. This will be out probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I got some more work to do. The thing that's cool about this that I'm kind of happy with, that's kind of different, is not only are the grooves killer, but we're going to release a library will be included with this for Serum at the same time with the same purchase, because we're using Serum to make a lot of the sounds that you're hearing in this library. And we'll be making more. Right now over here, it's, oh, geez, I have, where is it at? Oh, here it is. It's called Street right now. Is this? Yeah. So like this, Cyber Siren. that is one of the patches that's being used in the brake tweaker, right? And a lot of the subs are also coming from here. We've got all these. They're very loud. That's Serum. So. And we'll be making some more hip-hop urban kind of sounds to complement the library to be used over the top of these grooves that we're making. So it's a combination of a brake tweaker and a Serum library at once. It won't be like a massive, 200 patches of Serum patches, but it will be a bunch of patches for urban groove type stuff. So what I've been doing is I listen to music. I talk to my daughter because she's really into a lot of this kind of stuff. And this is one of the songs. I really love this groove. So here's the groove I'm modeling. So we want this in brake tweaker. And there's this sound. This is a sub bass from Super Macho Drums that I've actually moved the sample start in. There's a kick from one of my, because when you're working with subs, you don't want kick drums that have just massive low end to them, or else you're going to end up in trouble. This is actually wave drum. These are samples of my wave drum, and I've been playing around trying to find the perfect relationship of which notes I think I like that. So that's what we're going with. And then there's some kind of a thing like that. Open hi-hat, 808, and closed, right? So how would we get this to be mapped out in brake tweaker? So I've saved already this grooved mapped version, right? So what I'm going to do is show you guys the process. So we need just the first. And let's go to pianos and make sure. So there's my sub. And then we're going to have where we go here and move these later. And we just need one. Sometimes I'm not even using compression when I'm building these. I'm keeping it really simple because people are going to compress the crap out of this stuff later when you're in production, right? So and then we need just the open hi-hat. So we're just getting it to where we just have a single hit from each of these. And we can have, so that and then have this hit for the open hi-hat. So okay, so I have everything mapped. I go like this. I'm doing this kind of quickly. I might go back and do this for the final a little differently. I usually put a Pro L limiter and juice it just a little bit. I'm going to mute my microphone. Okay, we're back. And we're at 48K, which we were not, but I bounced it out. I'm trying to keep all the samples at 48K for a little higher resolution. So at this point, I'm going to open it up in DSP Quattro real quick. Take a look. I do a little bit of level normalizing sometimes to samples. So let's normalize it 100% to start. So I don't think you guys can hear this. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to pop it. Let's see. Save. Quit. Pop this over here. There's a really nice tool inside of Omnis in Logic Pro, Strip Silence. And by doing this, it makes regions for each of these. And then I can adjust the length of the regions. Oh, wait, let's do this solo. Cool. So I have all the samples. Let's call this, let's go up here. We're going to call to our, there's a second, I don't know if you guys know this, but you have two different tools in Logic. This is when you're holding down the command key. I want it to change to text, called Streetcar. And then I'll spit out, and I want to make sure that this is like, cool. And so these don't need to be that long because they're so short. And then all I have to do is go under here to export 6 regions as audio files. I'm going to go to my desktop and make a new folder called Streetcar. And export it. And it has done that. So now I would go to each one of these, and I know this is the sub. Oh, no. Quit. We don't need those guys running. So I'm going to be at the desktop. One is the sub. So kick. And I'm going to give them their names now because it just makes it easier. This is kick. And then this was, yeah, the snare kind of thing, right? And then 4 was the bell tree kind of sound, the tambo, we'll call it tambo. So perk, streetcar, tambo. 5 was the open hi-hat, so open, hat, and then closed, hat, streetcar. So now I open up, I have a folder set up. So we can go to Break Tweaker library, to the samples. And if you notice, in the Break Tweaker folder of samples, there's the factory ones, which go to here. And then Black Octopus was a library that came with this, all this kind of stuff. And then I started backwards at 98 was Mega Macho Drums for Break Tweaker, went to here. And then OMG is right here. And so the 60s is where you will find the samples for this library. So we have 50s and 40s. We can do a few more libraries still before we run out of space and have to go to a higher serial number start. At the end of the list, Let's see. Kick, the sub, we'll put into the booms. We'll put the kick, regular kick into the kicks. Snare into the snares. Perk into the perk. Urban perk. And hi-hats. So I have now added those to my folders. So if we go down here and add break tweaker, close, because we're doing a new groove. It's 105 beats per minute. And we go to the sub first, and we say sample, go browser list, we go to the subs, and we look for streetcar. Where's streetcar? There it is. There it is. And then the second note is the kick. So we go to Guru Urban Kicks, streetcar. And then we need just keep building up each of the 6 tracks to have the samples that we'd created. Next would be the snare. So Guru, Urban Snares. There. And then we have the hi-hat next. So we'll say samples for this. Click to browse. Guru hats. Streetcar closed. And then streetcar open. And if the samples are a little late, I can fix that at another late date. But we build it up. So it's right here. Guru hats. Streetcar open. And then finally was the percussion, the little tambourine kind of sound. So go over here to urban percussion. Streetcar. Okay, so we have everything we need. So this is on quarter notes. This is a very simple groove, actually. There. So we took the groove. Let's see if I mute this. Oh, I'd have to revert. Let's do this. I should have saved out the groove as an audio file, but so basically the basics of this groove is just, it's a lot of quarter note downbeat driving stuff, right? Oh, wait. Get to the bottom. So, and then I'll copy this pattern, copy, go to the next note above here, paste this pattern. This version won't have that. And then the next note pattern, paste, will have then I'm going to have a hi-hat. And I need to go here to release. And then for the fills are fun. So we'll take this pattern, copy, paste on, this is the D sharp, paste this pattern. So the idea is to so when you hit the fills, you get a nice variation. And then when we get to these other fills, we get really crazy for the E and the F fills. These are ones where we'll do all sorts of and if you notice when you're doing the amounts, they show a timing grid at the very bottom. So you can see how many you need to have segment-wise so that it hits the timing markers about right. So I'm going to be right there. And then add a fade in, add a negative curve. And you can even get into carried away stuff where you can have melodies played. So let's have this do a melody for this first part. So let's give it a whole bunch. Why aren't you? Oh. And then the type, if you go on the slope, there's all these curves. And it's so weird. So, no. And let's make this louder. So let's go to effects. And there's so many chords. That's not what I'm going to use, but you get the... And then the final step is to go save. We want to save this into OMG Urban Streetcar. Save. So now it's added to the list. As we go down the list, we'll have all sorts of other... Or it's supposed to. Where did it put it? Oh, I didn't put it urban in the moniker, so there it is. Okay, so it's fun stuff. Urban Library coming later this month. Do you guys have anything you want to discuss? I'm sure you guys have been having a good talk about here. Yeah, beta, they might not get it to me because I don't think they want it to be seen until it's done. Who knows? We'll see how it goes as far as that goes. Any questions? Gonna wrap up and go out with my daughter. Yeah. Anyway, I thank you all for watching and hanging out. If you have questions for next week's live stream, if you have a topic you want me to cover, send me a note. We can look at drum programming. We can look at production. all sorts of stuff. We'll think of something fun to do next week as well. This was a good time. What is the next Omnisphere library? Probably this groove library. I'm going to turn it into a urban groove library quickly. We're working on violin. There's some other things in the works as well. So, all right, since you're going to Costa Rica, you should bring back samples. I'm taking my field recorder in June to Costa Rica for sure, along with my camera. Can't wait. My daughter and I are going to be going. Thank you. Oh, shout out times. Let's do our shout outs. Where are you all at? Where at in the world? Yeah. Thank you for the feedback. People are liking the grooves and liking the tutorial. It's fun to take samples and then put them into other formats. Get them in other places where... I can't sing that. Nottingham, UK, Phoenix, Arizona. Finally back in Portland, Oregon. Wales, Spain, lovely. It's so I love the world, man. It's so awesome. I want to come see all you guys. Holland, Germany, the UK, Wales. Hi, Tim. Tim's here. Yay, Tim. Thailand. That's right. Yax is here. Great. So good to see all of you. Mississippi, Kid Anthem, my man. Atlanta. Nice to see you, Greg. Well, don't forget. Check your email. There is a weekend sale. It's only on the newsletter for the promo code to save 35% off. Or send a note to the website. It's only for the Cinco de Mayo weekend because it's Cinco de Mayo time. And it's just internet, web-based, quiet stuff. I'm not making it a huge, big promotion sale on my website or anything. So just you guys. All right. Thank you for joining. Be well, be peaceful, be happy, and we'll see you soon. Okay?